Ooh, that looks tasty.
Welcome folks, Today the Hungry Gamer is back with another game review and a preview. And today we're talking about Sniper Elite, the board game by David Thompson and Roger Tankersley and published by Rebellion Unplugged. And we're also talking about Sniper Elite, Operation Kraken. So everything you're going to be seeing here in this rules overview is going to be from the base game, so you have a better idea of the quality of the components, because the core mechanics are going to be the same, and I'll talk about what's new in my final thoughts. And thank you to Rebellion Unplugged for sending me the copy of the game and for sending me the prototype of the expansion. Now what this game is this is a game based on the video game series of the same name, and in it one player is taking on the role of a sniper and the other is taking on the role of the defenders, who are Nazi defenders and various Nazi things. And the goal is for the sniper to accomplish two different objectives, which will be at two of these different numbers along the board, and they have 10 turns to accomplish each one. If 10 turns runs out and they haven't accomplished one, then they will lose, or if the defenders are able to shoot the sniper twice, then the defenders will also win. And you're going to do that with a little bit of bag building and push your luck, and as I already mentioned, some hidden movement, and you'll be using this lovely dry erase board. Now, with that said, if you are not interested in how this game is played and want to jump into my final thoughts, then you want to go to the timestamp on the screen right now. For those of us still here, let's talk about how this game is played. First of all, you'll see I have the sniper right here, and this mini is rarely actually used, so I'm putting it off to the side, and I'm going to zoom in a bit because we can see the whole board here, and I'm going to slide this onto the board as well. And so at the beginning of the game, the sniper will draw two different cards, which are going to reference the different locations in which it can accomplish its secret missions. So for example, we have the 4, which is right here. So if the sniper can get here and take a special action, then they will accomplish one of their 2 missions. Each different player has a different set of actions that they can take, and I'll start with the sniper. The first thing that's going to happen is the sniper is going to be able to move, and they can enter the board at any of these different arrows around the board, and you'll see this is an exact replica of the larger board. And the sniper can move 0 spaces or 1 space with no fear of anything happening to it. It could also choose to move 2 or 3 spaces, and what's going to happen there, and I'm going to use little sniper mini for this example, if you move 0 or 1 space, no one can hear you. But if you then choose to move that 2 or 3, then you have to tell the other player that these particular defenders heard something. Now, you don't have to say when they heard it, you don't have to say how many times the sniper passed it, nor do you have to say what direction they were going or where they heard it from, just that they heard something. And every turn, the sniper will be able to take an action. Every turn also, the sniper will be allowed to play a single one of their loot cards, which they'll place face down, and they will carry out whatever the action on the card happens to be. And there is a whole bunch of different types of cards that you may have. Another thing that the sniper can do is they can do a loot action, though they can only do that if they're standing on one of the numbered locations. Again, the sniper mini wouldn't be there, but so we can see, I'm going to put it there. So they can take a loot action, and then they would draw 3 of these loot cards, and then they would pick the one that they want. And the final thing that the sniper can do is they can snipe. And so what we'll do is we'll say that the sniper right here is targeting this officer, and again, the mini would not be on the board, but just so we can see what's going on. And so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to count up how many areas away we are. And that is 1, 2 areas away. If they were right over here, then it would be 1, 2, 3 areas away. Then they're going to go to their bag, and they're going to announce how many different tokens they're going to pull from the bag. And so we'll say we're going to pull 5. And my goal is that I'm trying to get 3 of these aim tokens. So I pulled 1, I pulled 2, I pulled 3, I pulled 4, and then I pulled this recoil. So I happened to get at least 3, so I got 4. Then I would tell the opponent that this character here has been sniped and they are killed. And they would come off the board, and I would have to make sure that they are able to see all the different tokens that I used. There's a couple other types of tokens that you might draw. You might draw a noise token, and if you ever draw 2 noise tokens on your turn, then you actually have to put your sniper out onto the board and everyone knows where you are. And then there's also a suppression. And a suppression simply means you can cancel out one noise. The last thing is, if you ever have 5 of these tokens out, then you have a misfire. Now I also mentioned there's a little bit of bag building. And as I said, we sniped this officer right here, so it would come off the board, and then that would mean I would add a suppression token to my bag. If I were to take out a normal soldier, I would add an aim token to my bag. And then every time you accomplish a mission, you have to add a noise token to your bag. And that's how the snipers are going to work. The defenders, as I said, have 10 rounds to try to find the sniper and stop them from accomplishing their mission. And so, there's a couple things they can do. You can spend both of your tokens if you have the officer still alive of that color and they're in their colored region, to simply have the defender tell you, yes, I'm in that region, or no, I am not in that region. You can spend one of your cubes to have a soldier move 2 spaces. You can spend a cube to have the soldier attack the location that they are in, which would, and if the sniper's there, they'll simply take one of their 2 wounds. Or you can do what's called a sweep. And what a sweep is you check the location you are, and then 2 adjacent ones, and the sniper has to tell you, yes, I'm there, or no, I'm not there. And the other things you can do are, you can dismiss a soldier from the board, and if your officer has been slain, you can bring him back to its spawn point, or you can bring another slain soldier next to the officer. Again, using your cubes. And I keep mentioning these officers, and what I'm referencing there is each of the 3 officers will have a specific card with an ability assigned to it. And they all do various different things, from the medic to the scout to the radio operator to your own sniper. But whatever it is, each one will have 2 uses of their ability per game. And as I said, either the sniper will be killed, or 10 turns will run out without accomplishing a job, or the sniper will accomplish both jobs. And that's how this game works. So what do I like about this game? Actually, before I go on to what I like about this game, as I mentioned at the beginning, I was showing you the original game for the broad rules overview. And that's because that is not a prototype, so I wanted you to see something that's more reminiscent of what the final game will be. But with that said, I do want to show you the kind of the main things with this one expansion that I have to look at. The first thing is, and I think the most significant, are these. Now, these are just 3D prints, but they are vehicles. And the defenders are able to get into the vehicles. What happens is, if you end your movement on one, you embark on the vehicle, you put the mini on the vehicle card, and then the vehicle is able to drive around faster, and it's able to do a move and sweep, and it's also able to kind of attack to the side of the vehicle, like you're driving along and you're kind of shooting out the window type thing. There's that, and then, of course, the other main thing, and there's some locked doors, which are actually quite interesting, but I'll talk about those in a minute. But the other main thing, obviously, are 2 new maps. And so here you can see we have the triple-looking ship right here, and we have the other base-looking place right here. So different types of locations, different open areas, all of that. And as I said, vehicles and locked doors and a couple other things here and there, some new cards. And then the other expansion, which I haven't gotten to see, will have a few more things as well. But back to what do I like about this game. And so I'm a little bit of 2 minds with this game. And the first thing is, in general, I don't like hidden movement games. And I tend not to like them because I'm just really bad. I'm so bad at them, it can often be hard for me to enjoy it just because I go out there and I get smashed. And the other thing is, it's a World War II game, and I always feel weird playing Nazis. So take that into consideration as I talk about this game, because what I'm implying here is the fact that I enjoyed the game, I think, speaks volumes to how strong of a game it actually is. So what you get is a very fast, easy to teach, easy to play, hidden movement style game. Now, for clarity, I've only played the solo and at 2 players, and I spent a lot of time just messing around and setting up scenarios as I was kind of learning the game. But I haven't played with multiple players playing the defenders. But It's very easy to play, it's very easy to understand, and it works really well. The fact that you are hiding your board and you're drawing on the board behind, so you're moving around, but if you choose to move quicker, suddenly that's going to alert everybody to what's going on. And I think that is particularly strong and particularly good the way that works, because suddenly you're going to run, they hear something. I think all of the way that the movement works is very, very clever, especially that you can't move into a space where someone is. Because that makes sense, but also it gives you a chance to win the game, because suddenly you can try to figure out where it is it might be going. You can kind of block a location off, and all of that works really well. On top of that, I think the way that the shooting works is super clever. The longer the shot, the harder it is, the more things you have to pull, the more opportunity is for something to go wrong. And I think it's very, very clean and very fun. So I really enjoy the way that works. I like the reasoning behind why you put different new tokens into the bag as you succeed as a sniper or as you take out the defenders. All of that I think is very thematic and very, very clever. But it's more than just the way you're drawing out of the bag. It's the fact that as you're drawing out of the bag, I get to see as the defender what you've pulled out. I see who you've shot, and then I can say, okay, that's a clue as to where they might be. That's a clue as to where it is they might be trying to get to. So all of that adds to this deduction that you're doing, trying to figure out where they are. But on top of it, you can get yourself spotted, and you drop that mini on there, and then suddenly there's that lovely boom. We zoom in, and we know that's where we are. Okay, they're going to try to get away, but they can only go this fast. And so if you set your net up right, it's going to be really hard for them to get away. Now, moving on to the defender side of it, I like how you are very limited in what you're able to do. It's actually quite hard to shoot the sniper. It's really hard figuring out exactly where they are, and then also having the actions left to take a shot at them. It's very, very challenging. And for me, I'm terrible at it. But it just works really well. I also really like the way you have the different specialists, because those game-breaking moments are huge. Your guy gets shot and then it's like, nope, medic fixes it and he's still there. That is huge. Suddenly you're using the scout and you're moving somebody across the board. That is huge. So all of those things really make for a dynamic game that you can play in half an hour pretty darn easily, especially if you're playing against me. You're probably gonna be done in 25 minutes because I'm just that bad. But I think all of that works quite well, and also I have to say the production is pretty darn good. They're real thick, chunky tokens. The minis are washed. All that's really, really good. So what are my quibbles with the game? Well, I already alluded to part of it being, for me, I don't love playing World War II games because I feel weird if I have to be the Nazis, and I feel bad if I'm not the Nazis and the Nazis win. So there's that. That's just a me thing. And it is a hidden movement game, and I find with hidden movement games, there's a lot of skill that goes into it. There's a lot of understanding what this means and what this might lead to. And that can lead to a lot of very unbalanced plays. So someone who's played a lot is going to obliterate you for a while. You have to understand that. Next thing I'll say is, having played as the defender, I would never want to play with other people on the defender side, because if you are only able to move two guys each turn and maybe move one guy and do a sweep, and that's all you're going to do, that's not exciting. It's far more interesting if you are controlling all the different factions and moving them all around. And I think that's really where it shines, but that means this is really a two-player game. Along the same vein, though the solo mode works, I don't find it particularly interesting, because again, the real interesting part of this is trying to outthink another person. And that's just where this is, and that's what I think makes this game so successful, because it's not really a puzzle so much as it is figuring out where they are. When I say it's not so much a puzzle, there are other hidden movement games like a Mind Management that I've enjoyed, but those feel more puzzly than this. This feels much less puzzly, and really you're trying to outthink somebody, you're trying to get in their head, and you can't get into the head of cards. Just doesn't really work that way. Circling all the way back around, I didn't talk too much about this expansion in particular. I wanted to start with the core game. So all in all, I think this expansion is bringing some cool stuff. The two things I want to highlight are the vehicles. Those are great. Moving further, the attacking to the side, the move and sweep, they're fantastic. I love, love, love the way the vehicles work. It's a wonderful addition, and it Very, very simple to add to the game. Really, really good. The other thing I like a lot are the locks. Now the defenders can have a door that's locked behind you. And the sniper can't go through a locked door. They can break the lock by shooting the lock, which is an entire main action they're doing, and it's giving the defenders a clue to where they are, and you might make noise, and I love the way the locks work. But there you have it, folks. That is Sniper Elite with the Operation Kraken. This is an expansion that I do not think is going to make you like Sniper Elite if you did not before. And I often say this with expansions. This isn't one that's going to do that. But what it does do is it gives you some new options, some new toys to play with outside of the new things I've mentioned, a couple new roles, some new gear, all that. But the addition of just those two things I mentioned makes the game so much more interesting. Locking that door, having those vehicles, moving those things around, knowing that you're protected when you're inside the vehicle. Just wonderful. Wonderful the way that works. And I think what this does is this takes what I think is a very strong hidden movement game and makes it better. So what I'm saying is, if you are interested in Sniper Elite, then I say you absolutely get it with this expansion, because you're going to enjoy it if you like this style of game, and this only makes it better. So there you have it, folks. That is Sniper Elite Operation Kraken. As always, if I made any mistakes in the rules overview, please let me know in the comments with a timestamp so I can get that in the Klingon subtitles. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.